first of all, what's on my mind, it is Mother's Day. All right. So it's Mother's Day for all of you that are out there. I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Mother's Day is a time for us to be able to express our love and sincerity and joy for those women who are the most important things, vessels on the planet for us. And I'm so glad to be in the studio today with my mom. Mom, why don't you give a shout out to our Straight Talk audience and just let them know that you're here and say Happy Mother's Day.
Hello, everyone out there. Happy Mother's Day. My name is Jerry Walker, Kareem's mom, and I'm just here myself to enjoy the show.
All right. So, Mom, I want you to just really quick, how has your Mother's Day been? You've been spending it with your children on today, your sons, and you've been blessed. So just let them know what's going on. She screamed like a kid on today. For those of you who are here, I was excited to see how excited she was over something that I thought was just really not that big a deal, but she was excited.
Well, I got a bite today. First of all, I started off in church service, and I got this big, beautiful bouquet of flowers. I just got all kinds of gifts today. And once I got home, I laid back in my bed and I fell asleep. And then the next thing I know, my sons were waking me up there at the end of the bed, waking me up, trying to get me to hurry up and get dressed and get ready. And so we went out to the garage, and I was wondering why they were fumbling around in the garage. And so I opened up the garage door, and here was a bike, something I've been wanting and wanting and wanting. And I screamed and jumped around like a kid at Christmas. It was so funny. And then here I am trying to get on bike, no tennis shoes or nothing, not even ready for it. But here I am. I jumped on the bike and I was wobbling, trying to stay on. It was a funny sight.
And so she was excited. So we've had an amazing day today. We have celebrated with other mothers. We had a great church service on today.
Yes.
It was great to be back in person. People have been vaccinated. People have done what was necessary so that we could begin to get together and hug one another and see each other. And it has been an amazing time. We had dinner today. I tried my hand at mac and cheese again. Well, I made it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But the baked beans were good. The macaroni and cheese was good. But, you know, they got this new Berea. I'm used to, what was it, Mueller elbow mac and cheese. That's what I was raised on. And the mac and cheese had great flavor. But I tell you, it was struggling. It was kind of like Gerber, macaroni and cheese for Gerber, right. The baby edition. But hey, I tried. We tried. And, you know, we had some grilled meat on the grill that was really good. So it was a good time. So today we're going to have a great conversation. And I'm just waiting. We're working out a few things for those of you who are out there. So those of you coming in social media stream, I want you to like, tag, and share this conversation on today so that we can really just get in here and just have a real good, clean conversation. Mom, I want to ask you, what was one of the key things when you were raising me and my younger brother? What was one of the things that you thought was most important that you instilled in us as young men growing up so that we would not be an embarrassment to you, but be able to make you proud when you got older? What were some of the things that you thought were important as a parent?
Well, then I thought yes, ma'am, and no, sir was really good. But I guess one of the main things that struck me with you guys is to I wanted you to treat a lady like a lady. And
treat her like a lady. Hey.
Yeah, you got it.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yep, that's just it, you know. And I thought, like, you know, sometimes people think it's old school, but I thought it was a really unique thing for a man to open the door for a lady, or to pull a chair, you know, out and push it back under for her. I just like this. I like seeing that, and I really like seeing it now, although it's not very much of it happening.
All right. So, and one of the things that we were talking today was the changing dynamics of how things have changed in terms of parenting, in terms of morality. What are some things that you think are challenges that parents have to face today that you didn't necessarily have to deal with when you were raising children?
Oh, it's so much more going on today. they just have to be really watchful of just about everything. Where you guys, when you grew up, you could be kids could be kids, and we didn't have to worry about a lot of the things that are happening in this world today. It's more killing. I mean, and you just can't trust people. None of those things today. You have to watch out for the policemen. Although you did before, but it's nothing like it is today. So I'm concerned about you guys when you go out, but I thank God that I have some young men who have their heads on straight.
All right. I think I'm getting a signal that we're going to try to see.
Check your email.
What's that?
Check your email.
All right. So I'm going to check my email right now. We're doing some things here that are a little bit different. And so I want you guys to shake, rattle, and roll with me so that we can get into the stream and then make sure that this works. Rob, that's not going to work. I got my guest on here right now.
I'm done.
So I want you guys to tune in. I'm going to ask my guest to come in. We try to do some things so that you would be able to see her in social media as well as and just really enjoy this experience. I want to apologize for all of you that are out there that are suffering through this situation right now, but we're going to do what is necessary. So I'm going to make sure that we get them in here and that we're able to enjoy this conversation. I got today with us as a co-host, Jalinda Wade, mother of NBA standout Dwayne Wade, who is in here with us, and she's waiting patiently backstage. Jalinda, I'm gonna ask if you would, I'm gonna have to call an audible. So if you could take down a number, I'm gonna have you just call into the radio station so that we can talk. If that's okay, can you hear me clearly, Miss Wade? Jalinda, are you able to hear me clearly? Are you able to hear me? Yes, I'm talking to you now, Jalinda. I'm going to give you a number, and I want you to just call in this number for me, okay? Okay, I'm going to put a number in the chat if you could just call in. All right, and we're going to get her in on the phone. Robert, what's that? Rob, what's that number? 989
921-7107.
All right, and she's going to get here. And we're going to get her come in. Just call on the phone. All right. Call. Yes.
On the phone. I'm already on the phone that I'm using. So how do I do it?
Just stop the feed and call in. I apologize. Yeah, I thought we were all set, but there's some technical difficulties that we're experiencing. So if you could just give us a call, all right? Just get off this feed and we'll just do the airways. And I'm going to ask you to do the same thing, Miss Elaine Richardson Cook. If you could just call in 921-7107. Just give us a call in just a second. Thank you all. For those of you who are watching on social media, I'm going to ask you guys to please turn your attention to kisswtlz.com. And we will continue our conversation here. I will not be defeated. We'll get done what we need to get done. And when it's live, sometimes you just got to be able to make a change and call an audible. Okay. So we are here. Miss Wade is on the phone. She's going to be co-hosting with me on today. Thank you guys for your patience. We're going to get this together. All right. All righty. All right. So here we are today. I want to tell once again, for those of you who are out there, all of you mothers who are doing amazing things, making great things happen, this shot goes out to you. I celebrate you on today. And as soon as we get Miss Wade on the phone, we'll continue with this conversation. All right. And Rob, I think we have a caller coming in right now.
It's already on.
All right. So
just get the first call.
All right. So we're going to get going. I'm off my email, Rob.
Okay. I sent the link first.
Yeah, that's not going to work. So we're going to ditch the new social media opportunity and we're going to do what works with us. If we got to go back to paper and mortar, one thing that was great about paper, and this is something that I learned a long time ago, when one thing, if at first you don't succeed, try again. You cannot be upset, especially when you're on the radio. You got to continue to make great things happen. Well, Mom, we are here today. And as you begin to think about, I know your mom is no longer here. When you look at Mother's Day, what does it mean? Because there's a lot of mothers that are out there or women that are suffering because their moms are not here. How do you handle Mother's Day? Because I looked at my social media feed. I looked at some text messages that were coming in with people who are in the same situation that you are, trying to, get over the situation that's happening with them as it relates to the loss of their mother. How did you cope this year with the loss of your mother?
This year was probably the first year in maybe 6 or 7 years. My mother has been gone for 12 years. And we buried my mom the Saturday before Mother's Day. And I have been able to get along or get through it really well. Up until this year, I don't know, for some reason, I wanted to grieve. But looked like she came up out of nowhere and said, Geraldine, that's what she called me when she's serious. She said, you have a testimony. And she said, to get over the grieving. And that's really what I did. I got over the grieving because I know I truly have a good mother. And when we know that we have a good mother and that we've done all that we could to make her happy, the only thing left to do is just to sit back and try to enjoy some of the memories.
And I know we often spend a lot of time, and I know I am because my mom is here. We spend a great deal of time celebrating, but we have to also take time to think about those who have lost their mothers in these moments. And I know that one of the things that was really important to me was to put a smile back on your face. And what I want to say to all of you that are out there listening, that it's important that you realize that even when we have a great loss, like the loss of your mother, I say this all the time, that we often grieve over what we've lost, and we fail to value what we have left. And so for those of you who have suffered loss, be it a mother, a child, a grandmother, whatever it is, and I know my grandmother was very dear to my heart, what I did was I began to say, what were some of the things that were important to her? What did she find value in? And then I would also say, let me live up to the standard that she expected of me. And so each year during Mother's Day, I celebrate her by being everything that I can be, all of the things and the values and the morals that she put inside or instilled. I try to celebrate her by doing the things that I think she values most. And so for those of you who have lost a mother and you're looking at today and you're dreading today, find a way to celebrate your mother in this moment. Instead of looking at what you've lost, remember what you have left, and then begin to use those attributes that your mother represented and put those, instill them in your daughter, into your sons, into everyone who has a dear place in your heart. And you'll begin to realize that when mom dies, she's never really gone. Have you realized that, Mom? One of the things that I saw in grandma is that I hear you say things that remind me of Gran. I'll say things and they'll say, you know what? That sounds just like grandma. I remember my grandmother used to say, and I find myself keeping her legacy alive by living out what she taught me.
Yes. You know what I did today? Today I got up and I have a bunch of my mother's suits because they're still up to date. And today I got up and got dressed and wore one of my mother's suits and wore a hat and looked like everybody wanted to say I looked like my mother. It made me feel so good today to be able to put on my mother's suit and wear it well.
And you look good doing it today too, Mom.
Oh, thank you.
Look, with a big hat, pink, looking good. I said, look at that. But you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I think that you are doing an amazing job. Now, Mom, I want you, for a mother out there who is maybe distant or disconnected from their child, what advice would you give them during this type of holiday when it's time that most moms are being celebrated? What would you say to, because you've never really experienced that, but what advice would you give to a mother who has fallen out maybe with her son or her daughter and is no longer talking with them, communicating? What would you say to them?
I would just say that they needed to get it together. I mean, because we don't know how long we're going to be on this earth, and your mother brought you here, on this earth to love and to nurture and to raise, in the right way. So we just ask that the mothers out there, you just find your child and tell them, let's talk about it and make amends and say I'm sorry and let's love on each other.
Okay, I think we have our co-host on the line on today. Rob, am I correct?
Someone named Elite and another number.
Okay, it's Delinda Wade. She's the other call. The Elite is Elaine Richardson Cook. That's the mom of Jason Richardson, two-time NBA slam dunk champion back-to-back. And then we also have Delinda Wade. I want you to bring Delinda Wade. If we can put her call through at the moment. Is she here? Does she hear?
They're both on.
All right, Delinda, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, we're trying to give some help with what's going on We're doing a new interface here in this particular studio. It's something that I use all of the time, but I'm not in control of the board at this moment. So we got to work through this as best as we can. I greatly appreciate you taking time out to speak with us on today. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy Mother's Day, Jalinda.
Hey, Sarah, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
And that's Elaine Cook as well. Are you guys, I'm going to ask that if you guys are speaking from your speakerphone, if you would please pick the phone up and speak through the mic itself, because it's going to make a difference in terms of what I will be able to hear, and it'll make you bring yourselves in closer to the conversation if that's possible. You hear me, ladies?
Oh, you said get off the speaker?
Yes, please come off the speaker. And I want to talk with you directly on your phone. Just hold the phone in your hand like you normally would for a call. No one really does that anymore. So it's actually going backwards. But if you could just hold the call. And I want to start with you, Jalinda. You're here today. And I found out recently that you have a new location. You're doing something new. You think you are a California sweetheart now, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing a whole brand new coast now.
So how we're going to get right into some questions, because it's been a number of years, Jalinda. I don't even remember when we first met, how we first met. But what I realized is that, like, this lady is real people. And I think from that very start, I started calling you Mama Wade.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for everything that you have done and everything that you have been. Many people know you for your son, Dwayne Wade, who just recently retired, but he is a phenom on the court. And I'm sure he's going to have an amazing career post basketball. But when you think about motherhood and true motherhood, and you got a little preach in you as well, when you think about being a mother, what would you share are some of the key things that are really important for motherhood with some of our listeners out there?
Well, with the place of motherhood that I came from, one of the most important things that I have received from Mom that I was able to pass down to my children, who told me about it later, was it was love. It was, I mean, even though sometimes it seemed like, mothers would be so stressed and different things we go through and like we don't have nothing to give, but when we can give them love, we can show them that they'll always be able to know what love look like it as they go down their journey of and their roles in life. So it was really love. And another thing Mom taught us was how to care for one another. I wish you would not look out for that one that's behind you or necessarily that one in front of you. Mama didn't play that. And so I taught my children that. And that's why their bond is as close as it is. And a lot of people don't understand it, I found out. But it's love and care. That's what I got from Mom.
Ms. Wade, I want to ask you this question as well. What have you learned from your children through the course of parenting over the years? You now have adult children, but what have you learned from your children? We often think about what we instill in our children, but what have you learned in the course of your parenting?
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. I have. And it's so incredible you asked that question, because I do. I learned from them on the regular. One thing I was able to see that I didn't see before, Kareem, was that because I did teach love and because I felt unlovable because of the choices I made, I didn't see what type of how they really took. And so what happened was I was able to see from them kids, them children right there, called unconditional love. Them kids loved me through whatever. It just didn't matter. They just loved me through it. So when I look at them today and I look at the things in which they are coming against as they're now these parents and walking down the road that they're walking down, I'm looking at this love that they displaying that a lot of people don't understand, and how they're in their business mind. They're geniuses to me, the different things that they're learning. So to be honest, I'm seeing a lot of little me in them that I didn't know that I had shared with them until they wind up telling me.
Wow, I think that's very powerful. Now, Elaine, you're on here, and this is Annie Lane. I can't just call her Annie Lane. Mama Wade, Annie Lane. I want to thank both of you being here. Elaine, I called you earlier, and I wished you a happy Mother's Day. Many people, they don't know who my mom is. They think that you are actually my mom because we spent so much time together. And family genes would have it that we actually resemble. All of the family resemble so strongly. But at first I wanted to say Happy Mother's Day to you. And how has your Mother's Day been so far?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers on here, to Linda and Jerry. It's been an awesome day. Yesterday I was kind of heavy because of, the fact of, Jerry had already explained that. And something came to me just saying, allow your children to celebrate you. And when I decided to, okay, I'm going to let my children celebrate me, I started sending them my Cash App. It was all done and, just laughing and fun and stuff. Because that's the type of relationship I have with my children. I love that. We can laugh and whatever. I can tell them how I feel. They tell me how I feel. And my Mother's Day was just beautiful. It was an awesome Mother's Day. Thank you for asking.
Now, you have the pleasure of hailing 6 children that you raised pretty much by yourself with the assistance of your surrounding families. For someone out there who's like, look, I got 4 kids, I got 3 kids, I can't do it. How did you manage raising 6 children as a single parent mom for most of that time? Give us some tips. Help us to understand how these women may be able to be more effective. Share with us anything that you used as a coping mechanism to get away. Because I remember one time you were sharing that you would go in the bathroom, you would lock yourself in the bathroom. Share with how in the world were you so successful in raising those 6 children?
Well, actually, it was 7 because when my brother Tyrone, I took on his son. So actually, I raised 7 children from a very young age as a single mother. And I tell you, and everybody don't have what I had. I had a great family that, was there for me. But as far as my household, first of all, we believed in the power of prayer. We believed in faith. And sometimes, you sit down at that table and don't look like there's going to be no food served, but some kind of way it happened. And food was on the table for the children. And as a mother, I kept my children close to me. Where there might be struggling mothers out there with raising, sometimes I talk to mothers raising 1 child and can't handle it. Well, I set my boundaries when my children were very young. There were certain places you could go. There were certain places you couldn't go. Street light off. Before the street light come on, you better be in the yard. Mm-hmm. Play with your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, and we were a family as a whole. So for a struggling parent, and it's so hard today because there's so many other obstacles that's pulling our young children away. And I just thank God that, to me, and not everybody is not going to do like I do, but mine fell on the church. I raised my children in the church. I gave them that foundation. When we don't have or we can't do, you pray about it. You ask God about it. You see God, and not saying that everybody's going to do what I would do. But one thing about it, I always let my children know, no matter what you don't have, birthdays, you might not have the best gift, but you have love. And instill, as mothers out there who are struggling, instill in your child that no matter what, whatever you lack, the base of it all is have love. Love is key to everything. It can bring you together when you feel like, man, I don't even have gas in my car. How can I do it? And, somebody's coming up, my kids had to start off walking to school sometimes, but people came and picked them up, and I thank them. And so the basis of it all is if you instill that love in your children as a family, nothing can break that bond. And I just think mothers should just go back to not worrying about how you look, your fingernails, your hair done, and put all that, instill that into your children as far as loving each other. I might not be able to give you a Rolls Royce, but we're gonna take this Uber and we're gonna go where we have to go. That's what I would tell them.
You know, that's really interesting. You brought up a concept of being home when the streetlights came on. Whatever happened to that type of mother? You know, when we were kids, you know, we would all be looking, oh, the streetlights coming on. You would have to be home before the streetlights came on. And you said something, either in the yard. And so then you began to create dynamics where you could have fun. I remember playing tag and red light, yellow light, green light, stop. Those types of things. And you did it with your brothers and sisters. You weren't running all over the city. Parents knew where we were at all times. I remember one time, me and Elaine, your oldest son, Skip, and another one of our cousins, we decided to get smart. You told us that we couldn't go off the street that we were on, but the street that we were on actually covered a couple different cities. So we decided we were going to press the issue. We took Sherman Street and we went all the way to Bay City on our bikes and said, hey, we stayed on the same street. But it was that type of parenting. When we got home, we got in trouble by one mom. You know, we saw your kids out the way, they got us, and then parents would bring us home and get it again. That was what we would consider old school parenting. Now, one of the things that I want to ask, because both of you guys have children that are high functioning, and the world looks to them and they would call them celebrities, they would call them superstars. How do you manage? And this is a really, how do you manage to bring out of your children the best qualities when you know that there's something special about them? And each of the children are different, and all of them have something special. But how do you bring out or birth or nourish gifts that you see in your children that you find have the ability to be something special? And I'm going to ask you that first, Miss Wade. How did you nourish the gifts or bring out or see or speak to the things that you found to be exceptional with your children?
Well, with Dwayne especially, when he was, you know, just this little guy, I always saw something more in him. Like I said, I remember from birth, I heard blessing. Didn't know what it meant, but I heard blessing. So what I did in the area that we stayed in, it wasn't much for them. So what I did, I just exposed him. I would take him and expose him to the sport. Around there was basketball. So you take him and you expose him to that, expose him around people. And I will always, one thing I was one of his biggest encouragers, his biggest cheerleaders. So I always tell him, oh, you can do that, or I'll let him know, I'm so proud of you. And you can see when you keep encouraging them, and when you keep, even this grown man today, as long as I encourage him and keep him lifted up, he feel like I can accomplish this thing here. And it makes him go further and further, and makes him go higher and higher. He just keep rising to whatever potential. And I keep being his biggest cheerleader there. I keep being his biggest encourager there. And I stay at the altar of prayer to push him the rest of the way through. And with the rest of the girls as well, even with Trigil and her fantastic foundation she got. I know how it is, but I push her and I
America's Big Sister. America's Big Sister.
Yeah.
And so, no, I was just giving the name of the foundation. You were talking about Trigil, America's Big Sister. And, you know, we've had an opportunity, Mama Wade, to talk about some of the things that she's doing, and she's doing some phenomenal things in that space. Yeah. So you continually breathe life. And I know that prayer is something that you do. It's something that is an important piece of who you are as an individual.
Oh, yeah.
And so, so we certainly want to thank you for what you're doing there. And Elaine, I want to ask you a quick question, because I know we talked about raising children. And I know that you were a woman who took care of her baby cubs, right? So I want to ask you this question as it relates to what you're doing now, because so much of your life has been about what your children have done. You have embarked upon a new journey. Why don't you share with our listeners what that new journey is?
Yeah, thank God. I am now a publisher. I wrote my first book, Before the Sunrise, Elaine Richardson Cook. It's a true life story of my life, of what I've gone through, my journey. And even though I started this journey thinking it was going to be one way, it took a total different turn. I'm running my a boutique, ageless style boutique for average size and plus size women. So I'm on a roll here.
well, those who are listening here on Straight Talk, they've heard your conversation, because we aired one of the interviews that we did with your book. You are a phenomenal, a very prolific writer.
Yes.
I was blessed by the book, by the material. And so where can someone who's interested in what Elaine Richardson Cook is doing, where can they find your book, Before the Sunrise?
You can go on Amazon.com and put in author Elaine Richardson Cook, and it'll come up through that. Also, if you would like, you can get in contact with me, private message me, Elaine Cook, and I have them here, and I could, we can talk. I get your information, we can mail it up. The books are $20 each.
Awesome. All right. Now I have another mom. So I'm going to put you on, if I'm going to put you guys on ice for just 1 second, there is someone else that is very dear to my heart. You women are amazing. You moms are amazing, not only with your children, but people don't understand how often you give of yourselves in the community. So I thank you for this time. We have with us Christine Johnson. That is Mama Johnson. She is the mother of the all-star, all-American, Hall of Famer, and all of the stuff in between, philanthropist, entrepreneur, and business mogul, Irvin Magic Johnson. She's with us here on today. Mama Johnson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Man, I'm so glad that you are here, that you have a few minutes. I know that you are there. You got your grandkids and kids and things that are there, but you took the time out just to be with us on today. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you all, too.
Yes.
Okay.
All the mothers, happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
Okay, so you are here with an all-star guest of mothers. I want to say, Mom, when did you know that there was something special about Magic? When did you realize this kid ain't just an average kid? There's something there's destiny on the inside of him. At what age did you begin to see something very special in him?
Well, I think when he was about in the maybe third, fourth grade, he used to go around the house, rolling socks together and throwing them up against the walls, and just making our home a basketball court, really. And each morning, he would get up early and go out and start playing basketball. And then when he was, like I said, about 8, 6, 7, 8 years old, he was in school, and the teacher, one of his teachers said, "Mrs. Johnson, this young man is going to be a special basketball player." And I'm saying to myself, but never realizing, that he had the talent that he had until, he was in elementary school.
Wow.
That's awesome. When I look at, there's an interesting story, and I'm not going to tell it today. I'm just going to allude to the story. I met you before I was even done with college. And I don't know if I told you, I think I told you the story before, Mama Wade. I was selling something called Cutco. You remember this, Mom?
Yes.
My mom's there. Because I went back home and I was like, I went to Miss Johnson's house and she said she's going to listen to me do my demonstration. I came and it was a cold call, knocked on the door. I was like, hey, I'm selling Cutco cutlery. And you were so nice. You probably don't even remember. You were so nice to me. And you sat there and listened to me. And you said, baby, I'm kind of busy right now. And then you're like, but if you call me, you can come back. And I just want to say thank you for being exactly who you are. And I just thought it was interesting. But looking at your son, who has done so much, who has achieved so much, who has created so many opportunities as it relates to him as a philanthropist, as an entrepreneur, what would you say is there one thing that when you think about it, you say, you know what, this is the thing that really gets my heart. This is the thing that I'm really proud of. What would you say would be that one thing, if there's anything that exists in that nature? I'm very proud of him because he does so many things, but he's a giver. And as you know, each year he gives out Thanksgiving baskets, and then all through the year he's always giving. He's a giving person. And I just, I just appreciate and I thank God for him being that kind of person. I don't care where he goes. If somebody needs something or
somebody say, well, my child needs to go to college or whatever, he is always there to assist. And so I just thank God for what he's doing and how he is blessing others.
Now, this doesn't mean somebody should need to call and be like, hey, yo, my child needs college tuition. That ain't what we talking about here. But we're talking about that when his heartstrings are pulled. What's funny is I had an opportunity to go out and meet one of his business attorneys. And this probably was about 15 years ago. I was out in LA. I think it was Paul Nadell, if I'm correct. And he was telling me a story about how Magic got into the coffee business. Mm-hmm. And he said, we were actually talking about Shaquille O'Neal. And we were like, hey, Shaquille, you're going to be great for this. And they were like, hey, come on in. What kind of coffee you want to drink? And Shaquille's like, I don't drink coffee. They were like, whoa. And Magic came in. And with that big smile, he gave them the right answer. And the rest is history as to his relationship, I think it was, with Starbucks. So I think that not only is he a great basketball player, but he is a very savvy businessman and entrepreneur. When you begin to look at your children, what impact has Magic Celebrity have on the other young kids, your grandchildren, the younger kids that are part of the family? Do they also believe that they can do great things like Magic, or how has his success impacted their lives?
It has really impacted my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, and now I am a great-great-grandmother. Wow. So they want to be. In fact, I talked to one of my great-grandson last week, and he wants to be a businessman. So he just graduated from high school, and so he told me, he said, Grandma, this is my major. I want to own my own business. Oh. And so he has impacted a lot of the grandchildren. I have about 27 grandchildren now. And
good Lord.
And about 21 great-grands and 4 great-great-grands. So he has a lot of work to do still to instill in the grandchildren. But he has done so much for them. He always talks with them, and when he comes home, they get together, and he explains to them, you got to work hard. You just can't, nobody's not going to hand you anything, but you have to work for what you get. And when you go out, have a good attitude, respect people. And so I just thank God that the way that he handle himself and the way that he deal with the grandchildren and with his nieces and nephews.
All right, now, Mama Johnson, I know that you have to go, and I know I don't want to hold you beyond the time that I promised. I was going to ask you just for a few minutes, but I want to have you leave us with. I want to ask you this following question: when you think about core values necessary that are essential for raising children in today's day and age, what would those core values be?
Well, one is to seek God first. First of all, put Christ in your life. And the next is to respect people.
That's right.
And the next is have a good attitude and make sure you get a good education. Those things, if you put all those things in order, and make sure you have a relationship with God. When you do that, everything else is going to fall into place.
So we're going to put God first, have a good attitude, work hard, and always treat people well. Those things are very important. Mama Johnson, Christine Johnson, I'm going to call you by your name, Christine Johnson. I refer to you as Mama Johnson. I want to thank you so much for being a part of this conversation here on Mother's Day. I pray that this Mother's Day finds you blessed, and it's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
I know your girlfriend, my dear heart, Jackie Wade Day is, that's my mother, my second, third, fourth, fifth mother. She is listening, and I want to just give her a shout out as well. Mama Johnson, I want to say to you, have an amazing afternoon. Enjoy your family, and thank you for tuning in and sharing with us on this afternoon.
Well, thank you for having me. And I want to say to the ladies, I love all of you. And I just wish I could be there to give you a big, big hug.
We love you too,
We're
Mama
gonna do
Johnson.
We love you.
All right, now I'm going to come back to you, Mama Wade, Jolinda Wade. I want to come back to you, and I want to ask you this question because Miss Johnson just kind of left off by giving a salutation to the other mothers that are here. When you came into the NBA, you were automatically drawn. You started building relationships with other moms. I want you to share with those who are listening. Being an NBA mom is kind of like an unspoken fraternity in terms of mothers connecting, because what I've realized is that there's a cord that exists in every single mother. Mama Johnson said it first and said it best. She said that we got to make sure that we put God first. When you talk about the motherhood or what you experienced coming into the NBA with other moms, how did that experience? Was that something that you were surprised that so many moms had so many things in common? That's Jolinda.
Yes. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I had it on mute.
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead. We're listening.
When I came in, I was gifted with Christine Johnson, and I was gifted with Lucille O'Neal because I came in trying to find my way. So it taught me that a lot of NBA moms that come in all the time, you know, we just don't be able to find your way in there. So you have someone that come and they someone like took my hand and they led me through where I was able to get comfortable in this place that God had brought my child to. So naturally I came in. And in the process, you know, I met your beautiful auntie, I met Elaine, I met your family. And so God was just surrounding me with so many beautiful mothers who I found out that a lot of us did have more in common than we thought, you know, because it was always a facade, like, you know, NBA mom, you this perfect mama. So I didn't feel like I fit it. Then when I found out that, you know, hey, listen, everybody ain't perfect up in this thing here, then we was able to release and to be ourselves. And that's how we connected. I believe that's how we truly connected, being ourselves. That's the ones that was able to come together.
And I think that it was so profound. And I remember having just like the prayer brunches during All-Star Weekend and the things of that nature. And people don't realize, you know, we see a lot of times NBA players, we see their wives or fiancés doing great things. But there are a lot of mothers that are out there behind the scenes really making great things happen. And Elaine, I want to say to you, Aunt Elaine, as we look at, you know, looking back on everything that you've experienced through this process of the NBA, what are some of the things that you found to be most memorable? And what would you share with maybe another mother whose son is a blue chip player, or he's, you know, you got other grandchildren that are coming up to the ranks that are that are just equally, or if not more talented than, you know, your first son. So what would you say to those parents who are out there hoping to get to the big dance? What would you want to say to prepare them for what they're going to encounter once they get to, quote unquote, the big dance?
Well, first of all, I think what mothers really have to do, especially in this day and age, because we're pulling at our children, at our sons, or whatever, is to keep that foundation and that relationship with your child. Because if they have that relationship with you, nobody else can come in and try to pull your child away, because that can't happen. I've talked to mothers where that has happened. But thank God I had a strong bond with my child, and it just, you know, well, one time it looked like it was going that way, but because of prayer and the fact that my son knew, wow, you know, no, this is my mother, he pulled back and turned back around. Because, I mean, things there's so much out there. It's so much, it's excitement for them. And so as long as they have that true foundation and you have that strong relationship with your child and you have that communication, you have to keep the doors of communication open. And I feel like, you know, hey, they were telling my child at one time he was going to be number 32.
That's right.
But because I instilled in him, oh, no, baby, you can be whatever you want to be. If you want to be the president of the United States, you can be that. Don't go on off of what they're saying this and that. Don't get that all in your head. You just go out there and do what you have to do. And he came up to be the number 4th pick. So, there's things that can hold our child back if we allow them to fester inside of them. But if we are strong mothers, I'm telling you now, not knocking on fathers, but if you have that strong bond, that strong relationship with your son, they will know how, when they get ready to leave your nest, how to come back. Just like that bird is going to fall a few times before it can actually get up and fly. And that's right. The same way with our children. And so we have to learn to, just let them go out there and taste the waters a little bit. And you be right there by your child's side. Don't ever allow somebody else to come in and just, take your child here. I just thank God that, I had family members that I trusted that could do that. Not every mother has that. So if you can go and be with your child and find out what's going on or what's happening, or your husband or his father, whatever, but you always make sure when that door is open that your foot is right there, and you can close it when you get ready to close it, not when somebody else want to close it on your child.
I'll say something that both of you mothers, I don't even want you all to say it, but there's something that I can say. And what that is when we look at our children and we see so many young Black men that are assailing all of these young men, whether it's football, basketball, baseball is now a new door. But when we see these things happening, one of the things that comes to mind that I realize is that this system is set up in such a crazy way that, and it sounds crazy, but there is a whole system set up to break the family and parental bonds that these young men are having. They grow up on the asphalt playing in the park. They grow up with a strong sense of village and community. They have strong relationships with brothers and sisters and siblings and mothers. And, it's very different. Other communities don't have the familiar bonds like ours does. And so, like, for me, a cousin, it may be like a brother, and our cousins were like brothers. Whereas in other communities, they tend to have more smaller families, and they don't really most of the time know who their cousins are. But there is an entire system that is set up to pull apart those familial bonds, those relationships with mothers and fathers, because they want to influence this multi-mogul that is going to soon have millions of dollars. And we got to think about this. We got, 18, 19-year-old kids, 20-year-old kids, 22 sometimes, that are going into the world. They're now millionaires. They have the ability to buy whatever they want. And everyone has an agenda. And so parents, those who were out there, Elaine, you said something that was so important. It's important for you to foster those strong bonds. Don't be afraid to address issues as you see them coming, because this entire system, if a coach can control a son and he sees that there are other people who has his ear, he'll want to make sure that he's the most dominant voice. If an agent comes in and an agent has his own agenda, and there are family members that are there that will cause issues or concern, that agent is going to do whatever he can to remove that. If a coach in college is having issues and he wants, or he has his own particular agenda, they are systematically removing those people who have a voice and in our children's lives, and they're sending them out so that they can take advantage of what we have. And that's why we often see our kids go out, and money after a period of time tends to not go back to communities that they came from, because when you look at their teams, nobody looks like what they came from. And so, and I can say that being one of those individuals in this, and I saw it happen so many times, but I want to ask you this question. I said that to ask you this question. Both of your children, your sons, I'm sure, have had high moments and low moments. When you talk about coaching as a parent through the emotional trauma, what are some of the things that you did? And I know, Elaine, I remember a third grade situation when Jason said that he was going to be an NBA player, and his teacher told him, pick something reasonable. How do you coach through those emotional traumas?
Well, first of all, you have to, in my opinion, you have to believe in your child. And just like when Jason came home, he was in the 5th grade. And when he came home, and he was just so broken, and he was saying how this teacher had said that, she was choosing different children, asking them what did they want to be when they grew up. And he told him, I want to be an NBA player. And she says, oh, that's silly. That's not going to happen. They only pick about 12. You can't do that. So when he came home and he told me this, I was heated. I mean, I didn't let him see how mad I was, but I sat him down and I told him, I'll never forget this. I told him, I said, you can be whatever you desire to be. If you want to be the first Black president of the United States, you can do that. I said, now, I said the teacher's name. I said, you respect her and you listen to her when it comes to your schoolwork. But when it's outside of the classroom, you don't take that no farther. I said, because if you want to be an NBA player, that's what you're going to be. And after that, Jason came home one day and said he was going to be the first NHL hockey player.
Yeah.
And he started skating. So, I mean, and he excelled in that. He did very well until his feet got too big and I couldn't afford to skate. But whatever your child, no matter what it is, whatever your child has a desire to do as a parent, it is our part to instill in them, you can do it. You can do it. If you put in the hard work, you can do it. If you stay focused, you can do it. And we can't allow other people to come in and tell our children what they are going to do. Because guess what? They're not going to let you come in their household and tell their children what they can and they can't do.
Rob, I can't hear
So
you.
that's what happened with my situation. You want me to keep talking? He must have hello?
Yeah, I'm here. For some reason, I lost you on my headset. And but Jalinda, I want to go because I've seen you in action. And I use the word coaching through an emotional episode intentionally, coaching, because what most people don't realize is before they ever hit a basketball, you ladies have been coaches in your children's lives. And I've seen you in action. Come on, son, you can do it. There was a commercial that you released recently. And he was talking, it was great when he was getting ready to retire. And you were sharing how you encouraged him through some of the toughest time in your life. As Coach Wade, Mama Wade, I want you to share, what are some of the secrets that you shared with your son about overcoming hurdles that you might be able to share with some young man or some young woman that's listening to this program?
Oh, wow. I remember Dwayne had came out with this saying. Matter of fact, it became a T-shirt where he said, my belief is stronger than your doubt. And when it was so much impact in that statement that he said, because it came from the road that he came from. Now, for Dwayne to have saw the road that his mom had went on, for Dwayne to have seen me not to come through them, as you said, hurdles, and come through all them places where it looked like I wasn't going to rise, that infused something inside of him that immediately let him know he is this fighter. There's nothing he can't overcome. As a matter of fact, you stir him up and watch out because he's coming through. He believes in coming through. And I teach him, I tell him, just because somebody says something about you, you don't have to receive it. That might be how they feel. That might be what they see, Dwayne, but that don't mean you got to receive it. What do you see? And I keep him focused in that direction right there. And yeah, I become his biggest cheerleader. I become whatever. I'll be his mama hawk. I'll be whatever he needs me to be to get him over the hurdle that he has to get over. And so that's the fighter that we see in that young man today. And he's still yet fighting his way through whatever will come in his path.
I'll tell you, we had an amazing time ago. I think you were, Dwayne was hosting an event in Arizona, and I think Jason may have been playing for the Phoenix Suns, and both of them were doing some community service work. And I think it was a moment that they had the event with Muhammad Ali out in Arizona. And I remember just sitting back and watching the interaction that you had with your son. How do you manage, I guess is a better question, a relationship with a celebrity, an all-American, an all-star, someone whose name is shouted in stadiums by tens of thousands of individuals? how do you maintain a mother-son relationship with someone of that magnitude and not get lost in the sauce, Mama Wade?
I just remain me, Kareem. I'm not going to change. I'm going to be mama. I'm always going to be mama, mommy, whatever he needs me to be. I'm going to remain who I am for him. He needs that. They need that. They need you to stay the same. They don't need you to get all caught up in the riffraff and all the hooplas and everything that's going on. They need you to stay the same because of the moments that will come. Ain't no if it comes. They are going to come. The challenges, the different type of, like you said, the environment that's set up to break up the families and all this type of stuff. You talk some real stuff there, brother. Yes, you did. So we have to remain the same. I have to be Dwayne Wade's mama at all costs for my baby. And it's okay. It's okay.
That is so awesome. And Elaine, I want you to share once again, because we're winding up. The hour goes by so fast. I'm going to have both of you on again and sharing some time, but I thought it was very appropriate for you guys to come on now. Elaine, how can people find you once again? Where can people find you, see you, get the book once again? Throw that out there. Give me about 30 seconds.
You can go to Amazon.com and go up under author Elaine Richardson Cook, put in Before the Sunrise. And if you don't want to do that, you can inbox me, Elaine Cook, and I can give you the information. You can send me your information and I'll make sure you receive a book.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right. Awesome. And Mama Wade, we're going to stay tuned. What's next for you on the horizon? What's on the horizon?
Oh, right now I'm doing a wellness and health teaching that I do every Monday and Thursday from 7:30 a.m. to 8 o'clock Pacific Central Time on Instagram.com. I do a live, I call it Check-In with Mama Wade, Better Health, Better Me. And
okay.
That's the path that I'm having on, because I went to this goal to reverse this diabetes, to get up off this medicine. And I mean, wonders have happened with my life, and I like to share it. I like to teach it. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm in a few other places, but that's that main baby that's got me all shook up.
We'll get both of those information and share it with our followers. We want to thank you guys for your time. And as usual, have an amazing Mother's Day. Take care of yourselves and each other. God bless you all. Grace and peace.
You've been listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen by the host, its guest, or call-ins do not necessarily represent the opinion of this station, the staff, its owners, Alpha Media USA, or its advertisers.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for JB's Market in Munger. You are going to get a 1-pack of JB's Protein Power Balls and a 4-pack of brats at JB's Market in Munger for only $5. That would usually cost you $10. You are getting it half off. JB's Market serves all Michigan-made products. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now and snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
KISS 107.1 is WTLZ Saginaw, home of the Steve Harvey Morning Show and simply the